everybody, it's Dr. Amy, and thank you so much for joining me on my site, The Pet's Vet. Today I want to talk about something that I think is so very important, and there is a lot of controversy behind it. In fact, it can make many of us very, very crazy, especially those of us who are veterinarians by trade, who have invested a lot of time and a lot of money into our education, and who are absolutely advocates for our pets. And so what I'm talking about today is this. I know that most of you who own animals, who have pets in your life, they're your, they're part of your family. You truly, truly love them, and you absolutely want what's best for them. And when they are hurt, it hurts you. It breaks your heart. And when you find yourself in a position where you may have difficulty, it may be a real stretch for you to be able to afford their care or to take care of them if an injury occurs, it creates a lot of stress and a lot of distress. But I still think it's very, very important that we bring this up, and I still think it's very, very important that I be incredibly honest. The fact of the matter is we choose to bring them into our lives, and therefore we also need to choose to be prepared to do whatever it takes to take care of them. And normally what I mean by that is you need to do a couple of things. One, think about whether or not you are in a position to afford an animal. They're not inexpensive. They cost money. Even if it is just their food and their housing and their need for veterinary care, it costs money. And you need to ask yourself realistically, and you need to do a budget, and you need to make the decision that is the right one. Can I afford the proper, and I'm not saying basic, just basic care, I mean the proper care of an animal? And just because your 5-year-old wants a puppy, that's not reason enough to do that, guys. And I know that sounds harsh, but it's reality. And we live in this society where if we want it, we get it, be damned the consequences. And I just simply don't agree with it, because I have to see this every day. And in the end, it's the animal that suffers, okay? And they are not disposable. They are living, breathing animals who feel pain, and it is you, the owner's responsibility, to make certain that they are cared for properly. So, what is it you need to do? First, do a budget. If the budget says you cannot afford their care and you cannot put together an emergency fund for them, flat out, you simply choose not to have an animal at this point in your life, okay? That's the right thing to do. Second, if your budget says, yes, I can, then we need that emergency fund. We need to be setting money aside every month that in case the unexpected happens, you have the capability of taking care of that. Animals do get hit by cars, they do get broken legs, they do get obstructions, they eat things they're not supposed to and require surgery, they do get very ill, they do get cancer, and we need to be prepared to take care of them to the best of our ability. And I'm not saying that you are necessarily going to go to the ends of the earth. If you have an animal with cancer, then I understand there are times when we have to make certain decisions, but that's not what we're talking about here. So an emergency fund, a credit card set aside just for the pet. Pet insurance, it's very, very, very important. Pet insurance is a wonderful, wonderful option, and there are more and more policies out there that are pretty much out there, and they fit every person's budget, and they make it so doable, okay? There is Care Credit. It's another great way for us to care for our animals when we need to. Wellness, preventative care, meaning that we budget it out and we break it up so that we do things spread out over the year, making sure that they get everything that they need. And guys, personally, I don't think vaccines is enough. You know, that's very basic care, but it isn't everything that they need. If you really truly want to do preventative care, we are talking a good exam at least once a year, twice a year if they're older, a full dental cleaning, and I'm not talking about what PetSmart does. Yes, there are vaccines depending on where you live and what they need. That may mean also some sort of insect repellent, heartworm testing, heartworm preventative. You know, your veterinarian can talk to you about those things. But the one thing that I do not think is acceptable, and this is going to upset many people, but the one thing I will always promise you is I'm going to be in your face, blunt, and honest. But these GoFundMe accounts that have become so popular, guys, no, unacceptable. It's one thing if you have an animal who is truly a rescue. You are taking on the care of an animal that has been horrifically abused and you need help and they are in a position where they truly can be helped. I get that. But to use a GoFundMe account as your means of funding the care of your animal because you did not prepare or plan, that is not okay. And people are getting tired of this happening. Most people are so charitable. They are so kind. But this has become so commonplace, and people are asking not just for what is the basic need of this animal, they're asking for money well above and beyond what the cost of the procedure is. Okay? So in my mind, yes, there is a place for the GoFundMe. At times, that is an option. But when you put those GoFundMes up, you need to be saying, I will pay this back any way I can. And maybe that's trade. I'm going to take out multiple jobs. I'm going to make homemade dog biscuits and sell them. But you know, to give something back, to thank people and to show people that you are not simply freeloading, that, folks, will go a long, long way. So that I just had to put that out there. This is something that I'm seeing more and more of, and I don't feel like it's appropriate. And recently I made that point. I stated that opinion. And yes, someone had made a mistake in how much they asked for, but nonetheless, it was a situation where had they prepared, they would have and should have been able to take care of this animal's needs without asking for the help of others. So I'm saying right here and right now, we need to go back to the time of our grandparents and our great-grandparents and quit expecting everything to be handed to us. If we're going to choose to have these animals in our lives, there will be times when I know the unexpected happens, like you lose your job or a family member gets some horrible disease and you truly, truly don't have the funds and you did plan ahead. But that is not really what the typical thing we're seeing these days. So there it is, Dr. Amy, kind of in your face and my feelings on the GoFundMe fund. Rather, how about choosing whether or not you can truly afford an animal? And if you can't, make the right choice, guys. Make the choice to not have them. That's the fair thing. That's the responsible thing. If you know you can, then be responsible and have funds, have credit cards, have pet insurance to make sure that you can also take care of them and their ongoing needs. Do not have more animals than you can care for. I hear it all the time. Well, I've got 7 dogs. Okay, but that's your choice, okay, guys? We choose to bring these animals into our lives. Nobody makes us do it. And you can call them a rescue, you can call them whatever you want, but the fact is, if you cannot take care of their needs on your own, then you need to make a different choice. And that is okay, all right? It's okay. All right, so this is Dr. Amy. You may not agree with me. I may have made you angry. I may have even offended you. And that's okay, because it's okay to be offended. We're all offended at some point. So we need to get kind of used to it. But there's my point, and if you like what I have to say, certainly join the Pets Vet or respond below if you didn't like what I have to say. I welcome those responses as well. Have a great day.